have you ever stopped to think, underneath the glitter of every golden age, every great civilization, lies a truth that is as simple as it is chilling. Wealth has never been as safe as it appears. Whether you live in the grand villas of Rome or on the 40th floor of a modern luxury residence, history whispers this to us. As long as money remains within the system, it is not actually yours. You have only been granted permission to use it for now. Today, we are going to talk about the rules of a very different game. A game played for thousands of years by the wealthy, the elite, that 1%, the game they never told us about. They knew that money was not just a number. It was a shield, an insurance policy, and most importantly, a survival ticket. While ordinary people trusted the system blindly, they learned to protect themselves from the system itself. Our main question today is this: while everything around them was crumbling and empires were falling, how did these people continue to stay wealthy? If you're ready, we are opening the secret vaults within the dusty shelves of history. Now, come with me, let's go back 4,000 years to the hot sands of Mesopotamia. 4000 BC, there are no bank cards yet, no stock market, but the concept of wealth has long been invented. The merchants of that time didn't hide their money under their mattresses like people do now, because any king or any army could come and take the silver under a mattress. So, what did they do? They tied their wealth to religion. The temples in cities like Ur and Lagash were actually the first central banks in history. The wealthy invested their silver in temple loans and farmland leases. Do you know why? Because a king coming to seize your treasury was politics, but a king seizing the assets of a temple was an insult to the gods. In other words, they used the invulnerability of religion to make their wealth politically untouchable. We learned our first lesson here. If you want to protect your wealth, you must park it in a place so sacred that the hand of politics cannot reach it. Let's head a bit further west, to the banks of the Nile. The Egyptian pharaohs and the narrow circle around them had solved another secret, the tangible asset. In ancient Egypt, wealth wasn't measured by papers or coins. They focused on the fertile lands of the Nile, massive grain silos, and gold mines. Why? Because even if an empire falls or a government changes, the land remains there. Land produces food in a hungry world, and food is the greatest store of value in history. Even more interestingly, these elites transferred their properties to structures similar to foundations, creating a sort of ancient trust system. Even if the administration changed, the property remained with the family. So, things like inflation or the collapse of a currency didn't really concern an Egyptian landowner. He had tied his power not to the temporary tools of the system, but to the permanent realities of nature. 5th century BC. Classical Greece. Here the game speeds up a bit. Merchants in places like Athens and Corinth discovered a concept called mobility. You could wake up one morning to find your city occupied or a coup taking place. Do you know what the clever merchants did? They didn't keep their money in a single city. They distributed their assets across ships, warehouses in different ports, and friendly bankers in foreign cities. This was history's first offshore banking. If Athens fell, the merchant could immediately jump on a ship and flee to Rhodes when he arrived. He was still a wealthy man, because his wealth wasn't trapped within the walls of Athens. It was spread across the seas in different ports. Rome, the empire of betrayals, assassinations, and sudden confiscation orders. Roman senators knew that one day they could be the emperor's closest friend, and the next day be declared a traitor and have all their property seized. What was their solution? Geographic diversification. The wealthiest Romans didn't keep their money only in Rome. They had lands in Egypt, mines in Spain, and trade rights in Anatolia. They even lent money to kingdoms outside of Rome's direct control. Do you know what happened when Western Rome collapsed? The state treasury was bone dry, but those wealthy families were still standing, because they had long ago withdrawn their money from the state's sinking vaults and invested it in massive, self-sufficient estates protected by private armies and secret trade networks. The state vanished, but the wealth of the elite survived. Because they hadn't invested in the state, they had invested in power. Now let's return to the present, to the phone in your pocket and those numbers in your bank account. The models we've seen throughout history, the temple shield, the land guarantee, geographic distribution are still valid today, but with one difference. Now everything is digital, and everything can evaporate in a single second. Governments can freeze bank accounts with the press of a button. Currencies can lose value with a single tweet. Inflation steals your hard-earned labor every day like a silent thief. Remember the great lesson the ancient wealthy left us. Wealth stored only within the official system is not yours. It is merely a risk. Ancient elites used keys to protect their wealth. control and distance. Control. Own assets that produce value regardless of the political climate. Gold, land, real resources. Distance. Do not leave your assets at the mercy of a single system, a single country, or a single currency. Distribute them, keep them mobile, and when necessary, make them invisible. My friend, history doesn't repeat itself, but it does rhyme. People believe that stability will last forever, until the morning it ends. The wealthy of the past didn't wait for disaster to strike. They lived within the system, but by working around it. Financial freedom is not just about having a lot of money. It is the peace of mind that comes from knowing that money will survive the storms. Remember, the system is a tool for those who know how it works. For those who don't, it is merely a trap. If this journey has given you a new perspective, we will continue to examine these secrets in more depth. Subscribe, stay with us, and continue to discover the truths among the ruins of history. You are watching Ruins of History. Stay with the truth. Asterisk.